Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to have a little fun. We're going to visit with listeners Trish and Chad from Charlotte, North Carolina. Trish has been coming to Puerto Vallarta for over 20 years, and she and Chad have some great stories and some real good advice for us. We're going to have news, both local and national, here in Mexico and in Puerto Vallarta. So let's see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week and around Mexico, the 2nd of April, 2022. Tomorrow morning at 2 o'clock, it's time to spring forward an hour in most of Mexico. For a little historical background regarding Mexico and daylight savings, it actually wasn't until 1996 that most of Mexico adopted the change to daylight savings time. The reasons had to do with economics, of course. Being neighbors with the United States, the change was adapted, I should say, to facilitate transactions with banking and business sectors between the two countries, as well as energy saving and for tourism purposes as well in Mexico. And even though the dates differ between the United States and Mexico as to when daylight savings time happens, and for example, in Mexico it's the first Sunday in April, and in the United States it's the second Sunday in March. So actually in Baja California, they've been matching up with the United States as far as moving their clocks since 1942. And it wasn't until, like I said, 1996, that most of the rest of the country followed. And interestingly enough, the states that border the United States changed their clocks at the same time the United States do. They're on the same time as the U.S. schedule, while some Mexican states actually ignore the time change altogether. The state of Sonora, for example, the state of Quintana Roo, and the island territories of the Islas Marias, or the Mary Islands, which is an archipelago of 4 islands that are located in the Pacific about 100 kilometers off the coast of the state of Nayarit, just above Puerto Vallarta, about 370 kilometers southeast of the tip of Baja California. They are part of the municipality of San Blas, Nayarit, and the other is the Revilla de Giglio Islands, or Revilla de Giglio Archipelago, which is a group of 4 volcanic islands in the Pacific, known for their unique ecosystem. They lie approximately 285 miles from Socorro Island, which is the south tip, south and southwest of Cabo San Lucas, the southern tip of Baja Peninsula. Both are, get this, penal colonies. Don't get excited, guys, okay? Prisons, all right? Actually, if you've been listening to the show, you know that the Islas Marias, which are off the coast of Nayarit, closed the penal colony to make room for the Vidanta Resort. Now, we'll see what happens next year, because all bets are off now that the United States has adopted the daylight savings time full-time, and we'll find out Anyway, enough of that. Make sure to set your clocks if you're in Mexico. Over the last 3 weeks, the Kiosk in the center of the Plaza de Armas, across the street from City Hall in Puerto Vallarta, has been overtaken by a protester who was just removed from the kiosk. Here's an article from Vallarta Reporter online. Police removed protester who took over Plaza de Armas kiosk. After 3 weeks of the Plaza de Armas kiosk being taken over by Mr. Macario Calzada for an alleged lawsuit against the Puerto Vallarta City Council for an unjustified dismissal, the kiosk is now back to normal. Authorities reported, however, that Calzada left it dirty, smelling of urine, and intoxicating drinks. Since March 10th, Calzada was in the kiosk as part of a hunger strike. However, there were complaints from merchants and residents that it gave a bad image and was very dirty. There were banners, cardboard, a mattress, his computer, speakers, and other items in the kiosk. Sometimes he played music, and the volume was very loud and annoying for people, so the authorities asked him to leave, but he did not want to. Around 7 in the morning on Monday, police removed him, along with other people who had come to the kiosk to drink. A nearby merchant said that they took him away at 7 in the morning. There were other drunks with him. They were homeless and spent time there. It smelled very bad. They had bottles, and that was not right. It gave us a bad image, and tourists were scared. He put his things in his truck, and I think they took him to the police station. Alfonso Alcantara, the director of property and maintenance, reported that they cleaned the kiosk on Tuesday so that tourists and locals can enjoy the site again. So some real drama right there in front of City Hall in our little pueblito. I don't know. Sounds pretty tame compared to what I drive by on a daily basis here in Los Angeles. Anyway, I have a link to that article in the show notes, although all the articles from Vallarta Reporter are hidden behind a paywall, so listen up or pay. Mexican President Manuel Obrador was praising Russia and Putin and Xi from China, and it raised some eyebrows in the West. Again, this is from Vallarta Reporter online. AMLO declares respect for Russia's Putin and China's Xi Jinping. President López Manuel Obrador declared his respect for two heads of state that are often short on friends during his morning news conference on Wednesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. He said that the presidents of both countries should be treated on equal footing with the leader of their major rival, the United States President Joe Biden. I don't categorize anyone. It's not the policy of Mexico to insult anyone or any foreign government. We have lots of respect for the president of China and the president of Russia and President Biden of the United States, he said. He insisted that political neutrality was imperative to Mexico's independence. Mexico is respectful of all peoples and all governments. It's not a colony of Russia or China or the United States. It's a free, independent, sovereign country with great pride, he said. On the ongoing war in Ukraine, initiated by Putin in February, AMLO condemned Russia's invasion, but said that it was for the leaders of both countries to secure peace. We can't be in favor of any invasion. We condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We condemn all invasions. What I want is for an agreement to be reached and for peace to be achieved so that people don't suffer, so that human lives aren't lost, and it's a matter of being fixed from the top, he said. The Mexican government has refused to send arms to Ukraine and support its forces and has not joined other countries in imposing sanctions on Russia. The government's neutral stance on the war was not helped by the creation of the Mexico-Russia Friendship Group last Wednesday, established by a group of deputies from the ruling Morena Party, the Labor Party, and the Institutional Revolutionary Party. More doubts were raised on Thursday when a high-ranking United States military official said that Russia had more spies in Mexico than in any other country. Uh-oh. That said, AMLO's wish for harmonious relations doesn't seem to apply equally to all countries. The elite in Spain have not behaved well with Mexico, And with our people, they've abused, and companies and banks have taken exaggerated profits from Mexico, and they've gotten into matters that only correspond to Mexicans. They've even done politics in Mexico, AMLO reiterated on Monday. In 2019, AMLO sent a letter to the King of Spain and Pope Francis, calling for them to apologize for the indignities suffered by the native peoples during the period of the Spanish conquest, which the government of Spain rejected outright. AMLO's cool-headed diplomacy was also superseded when the European Parliament approved a resolution criticizing the murders of journalists and human rights defenders in Mexico. The federal government responded by accusing European lawmakers of corruption, lies, and hypocrisy, and describing them as misinformed sheep following the lead of its adversaries. I have a link to that article, which is, again, hidden behind a paywall in the show notes over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. That, of course, is from Vallarta Reporter. And with Putin demanding countries that are hostile to them to actually have to pay for oil and other commodities in rubles, I think Mexico is pretty smart to keep playing all sides, to keep Mexico's options open, if you know what I mean. Again, that link is in the show notes. And take note here, the Vallarta Botanical Gardens are changing over to their summer schedule. So scratch them off your list for Mondays until December. They're going to be open Tuesday through Sunday from 9 in the morning until 6 in the evening. So there's plenty of time to see them. Just don't go there on Mondays until, well, like I said, until December. Don't forget. Our buddies Hillary and Zoe from Texas, if you remember them, I'm sure you do, they were our trailblazers when Mexico reopened tourism back in June of 2020. And if you can remember that, that was just 3 months into the pandemic. I have a link to that episode in the show notes, so take a look there if you haven't heard that episode. At any rate, Hillary and Zoe have great news. They just opened up a really cool place over on Isla Quale. It's called Ruffy's Canine Cantina, and it's a place where you can eat and drink while your doggy plays. And they've done a really lovely job on that space. It's located where the Devil's Bar was for just about a season over on the island behind Oscar's. And you can access it from the pedestrian bridge over on Juarez, known as the southbound bridge into town. You just walk down those stairs opposite from the River Cafe. River Cafe is on the other side of the street. Or you can come on down from the pedestrian bridge over the Rio Quale over on the Malecon. And you just walk over and you walk past Oscar's, and they're behind Oscar's there. Anyway, I plan to have a visit with them, and we'll have a talk with them when I get back into town at the end of the month, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, if you are in Puerto Vallarta, get over there, say woof or ruff or just hola, I have a link to their website as well as their Facebook page, and you can find them in the show notes. And once again, congratulations to Zoe and Hillary. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Speaking of the southbound bridge, the construction over on the Insurgentes Bridge is dragging on. The hope is to have it completed before Holy Week and before Easter and all that other good stuff. I don't know if they're going to make it, but we will see. They're getting there. They're getting there slowly but surely. They're getting there. If you can remember, that bridge was destroyed by Hurricane Nora, so it's been 6 months that the bridge has been under construction. Of course, heading into month number 7. So we'll see. We'll see if they can get the inauguration of the new Insurgentes Bridge done by Pascua. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, I'm coming back to Puerto Vallarta the end of the month. Yay! Finally, after being sidelined due to not only a bunch of work that I need to do, and I'm really grateful for that. I got to tell you, I've got houses to sell in Los Angeles and in Ventura County, and I'm making money so I can come back to Puerto Vallarta as often as I can. So, if you remember on my last trip, back in January, I contracted the Rona, and I was stuck in Paradise for an additional 8 days. 8 days longer than I actually had planned. So in order to get back here, begging was involved. I'm not ashamed to admit that, okay? But my wife penalized me like one visit. So it's been 4 months since I've been to Paradise. So I'm about ready to go back. I'll be traveling again from Tijuana to Puerto Vallarta, arriving on April the 27th, a day after my wife's birthday, and 2 days after JR's 82nd birthday. I'll be there until Cinco de Mayo, so I'll be there just a little over a week. And speaking of JR's birthday, he is going to be having his 82nd birthday party over at Gringo Loco, and he'll have it on the 28th of April. That's a Thursday night. I'll be in town. It'll be great. It'll begin at 5. There will be a band, so dancing might be breaking out. Who knows? And if you are planning on being in town on the 28th of this month, we sure would love to see you there. No gifts are necessary, although cash and booze are always welcome. However, your presence is more than enough for JR. I don't know who the band is going to be right now, but I'll be making announcements as we get closer to the date. And I plan to have a microphone with me at the ready, just in case. I mean, we need to interview the birthday boy, but more likely I am going to have a meet and greet later on the following week. So stay tuned for that announcement. I always get the best suggestions from you listeners who come out to these get-togethers, these meet and greets. You're always so full of useful information, and makes it easy for you guys to add new places to your lists for your next Vallarta visit. And with that in mind, hey, let's get to our guests, listeners Trish and Chad, shall we? As I just mentioned, listeners have some of the best ideas because many of them have had years of experience visiting our favorite little place in Paradise in Mexico. They watched this town grow up. They've seen restaurants come and go, and many of them actually have left the comfort of their resorts. Yep, they really have. Their condos or hotels, and stretched their wings and explored and discovered new treasures along the bay. Some have become part of the community. They give back as well. And that really describes my friends Chad and Trish. Now, they've been loyal listeners from the beginning, and we now have been Facebook friends starting, 6 years. Can you believe it? Been doing this show for 6 years, just over 200 episodes, and it's amazing. Anyway, I've been threatening Chad and Trish that I was going to mail them microphones so that we get their stories, but after years of being virtual friends, finally our paths were going to cross, and we were going to be in Puerto Vallarta at the same time. I'm very excited when that happens. So I grabbed them over at Bar La Playa. They were just sitting there, and I said, "Hey, come on. Let's go up to my Airbnb right over there, over at the Plaza Mar, and come up in my room, and let's throw open that balcony window, and let's let the sounds of the Malecon drift in while we talk about your experiences in Paradise." So let's go right now to the third floor condo overlooking the Malecon and the Pacific Ocean, and the Bahia de Banderas, and Burroughs Bar, which is right there. And let's have a little visit with my friends Trish and Chad in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Trish, Chad, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are you from, and what was your path to becoming big Puerto Vallarta fans?
So we're both from Charlotte, and I started coming to PV in 2000. We've checked out different places in Mexico. We've been to San Blas, Cancun, of course, Cozumel, Playa del Carmen, Valladolid, and we just keep coming back here. It's our favorite place.
That was the place.
Mm-hmm.
It is the place. All right. So you've been coming here for 21 years.
Yes.
Thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm having you on, of course, because you know a whole lot of stuff, and you are big foodies, and you like, you like tequila. too, I understand.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be talking about that too today. So let's just talk about what you're doing now. I mean, what are you doing this trip down?
So we come here every year, of course, and it's usually for 2 weeks, unfortunately. One day it's going to be more. One day it's going to be forever.
You're one of those.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those. But this trip, we usually like to plan just time with friends, first of all, and then we just do a couple of things. Like this trip, my biggest trip idea was going skydiving. And then like today we went to Kiosk for the day, so that was beautiful. We went to San Pancho. But then we just like to hang out with our friends and, visit with them and hang on the beach and just unwind from the rat race.
Yeah. All right. So you jumped out of an airplane.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that. Who'd you use?
Skydive Vallarta.
Is that like the only group that does that, do you think?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
All right. So Skydive Vallarta. So walk us through this. What happens? What'd you do?
So you go and you take just a small class, like the proper form, how to land, just what to expect during the whole flight. And then you have your bus ride to the airport. You hop on the plane. They take you around the bay, which the views are spectacular. And then before you know it, the hatch opens and you're out the door.
Yeah. You've never done this before, right?
No,
Okay.
first time.
All right. So what was that like? What was that like when the hatch opened up?
So the best way I can describe this is, Bradley Cooper's movie Limitless, like when he takes that drug, that has got to be what this feels like. I mean, it was just so much adrenaline. Everything was just so much clearer and so much brighter. It was just the best feeling I've ever felt in my life, and I would do it 1,000 times again.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. So what was the landing like? How do they land with two people?
So super smooth. I mean, you just put your feet up, and then the guy lands, and then you just go down to the sand.
You just land on top of this guy.
Yep.
All right. I hope the guy was prepared. That's pretty cool. And you did Kiosk. What was that? What was that experience like? Who did you do? Like a collectivo? How'd you get down there?
We down on Los Muertos Beach, you'll see a guy down there, and he stands out from the rest of the vendors that are selling the day tours. His name's Charlie. Charlie walks up and down the beach.
Okay.
And one of his catchphrases, he's like, I've got all the tours, I've got all the fun shit, and that's where. But he's always cracking himself up, but you always see him. Everybody knows him. I mean, even if they're not getting tours from him, like, hey, Charlie. And he'll go over and sit and chat with them a little bit.
Yeah.
And
well, maybe I should get Charlie on the show, huh?
I think you should.
Yeah, I think he would be a great interview.
All right, so
sure.
Did Charlie go with you on this tour?
He did, and
Okay.
that's what I thought was cool. He wasn't just like the point person. He was actually the guy that's going with you.
Okay, cool. All right.
So he went. The boat owner's son drove, and 16-year-old kid, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
And Charlie's teaching him the ropes. So yeah, we went down to Kiosk, and I tell you, it was just like you just stepped into another world. Just after a 45-minute boat trip, just beautiful down there. Just quiet, peaceful. That you weren't dealing with beach vendors, and nothing against the beach vendors, but it was just nice to catch a break and just sit there and quiet and just enjoy the beauty.
Yeah. So you stayed at you ate at a restaurant there. They have a restaurant on the beach.
Yes, and I wish I remember the name of it, but I can't at the moment.
They have a couple restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but I wish I could think of it.
Well, you'll remember.
I'll
it.
remember,
You'll
yeah.
remember it, and if you
Yeah.
don't, then you'll remember it later, and we'll
Yeah.
put it on the show notes.
Yes.
Well,
All right.
from what Charlie tells us too, it's where we went. It's when they take those tours down there. There's a big dock around the corner. And I think they drop most people off at the big dock, and they kind of shuffle them through and get them up to the waterfall and do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think a lot of people come over to that side of Kiosk. So it was really quiet over there, which that was nice. I mean, they took us straight in right in front of that restaurant, dropped us. Mm-hmm. He walked us through town. explain different things. He was like spiders. She's terrified of spiders, and he was pointing out this huge spider, but just like how docile it is and how the web.
He picked it up, right? No. He ate it. No.
So yeah, I would recommend Charlie for a tour. I mean, there's plenty of guys trying to sell you a tour.
But he's not. He's selling you a tour, and he's going on a tour with you too, which is kind of cool. Wow.
And it was very one-on-one. It wasn't, we weren't with a load of people going down there. It was just she and I and he and the boat driver.
Wow. All right, we'll have to get Charlie on the show.
Yeah.
All right. So those are like your highlights. You said you also went to where?
We went to San Pancho
San
for the day.
Pancho.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
That was great. I mean, it was just kind of a chill day.
Yeah. You took a bus?
So we had a driver named Xavier.
Yeah.
So I'll give
you have a driver when you come here?
Yes.
Okay, everybody, listen up.
So he took us. It was less than $100 for the drive up. It was less than 100.
Yeah, I would have to think about that, but it was very reasonable.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it was like 85 maybe.
Right.
But we went up and he dropped us off. He came back to PV to do other pickups, and then he came back and grabbed us. And
Nice.
yeah, so
All
we
right.
could just do our own thing for the whole day.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine you spend a lot of time on the beach. They
Yeah.
have the beach club there. Did you go to the beach club?
Yes, yeah. It was just it was the most relaxing beach, honestly.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful
beautiful.
beach.
It is beautiful there. Yeah.
And the town, I feel like the town is probably what Sayulita once was,
Right.
and it's just very surfer, hippie, just chill town.
Yeah, it's really actually, if you take a little time and walk up and down some of the streets there, they've got some beautiful houses.
Yeah,
Beautiful
they do.
places.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we've been to San Pancho on the show before.
Yeah.
All right. So when you come here, what do you now? When you first came here, you probably stayed at a hotel or a resort or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
how did that kind of evolve?
So it's funny because I had to break him into Mexico first.
Oh, really,
Yeah.
Chad? Really?
Yeah, she'd been coming a few years prior to us getting together.
Yeah. So
So-
I was like, well, let me just take you to Cancun first and see if that's doable. And then that was fine. And then I brought him to Puerto Vallarta, and then we went to Fiesta Americana in the
Okay.
hotel zone.
Yeah.
So that's where we stayed the first time.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And then now, where do you stay now?
We've been staying at the V399 condos, which, I mean, that's a great location. You're right off of Basilio Badillo. And it's in the middle of everything, so I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're fairly new, right? They're like less than 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, pretty new.
And how do you work that out? Do you have somebody that you usually rent from, or
Yes.
is it like a
Yes.
a PV kid kind of thing, or
We have somebody that we typically rent from. We've been renting from him for probably, 5 or 6 years?
I think
yeah,
it's our fifth
easy.
year.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay, so you really
Yeah.
like that place.
We do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right in the middle. When you walk out of that building, what are you looking at? Where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
So we're on the corner. If you look at the corner, there's Eureka's. Well, it's not Eureka's anymore,
Yeah.
bakery, but in Freddy's Toucan. So it's and Felipe's Massage is right beside of us.
Right.
So that's
so
ideal.
it's right there. So you're right in the middle of town. So
Yes.
when you walk out the door, boom, you're in there.
Yep, you're in it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic. All right, so when you're in town, let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite places, and we'll talk about other things later. But let's talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we'll talk about maybe some bars and stuff like that. Do you club? Do you go night clubbing?
I mean, not
We
night
don't.
clubbing. No,
No.
Okay,
it's more
good.
bars.
I'll take that out. So let's start with breakfast, and you know the drill, your listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell us your favorites. So what do you think?
Okay, so for me, I'm not a big breakfast person when I'm here, just because it's usually a little late night or something. But Juiceland is my favorite place to go
Juiceland.
to. It's a little juice cart. It's off of Constitution.
Yes. Just walk up Basilio Badillo.
Yeah, and then
make
make
a
a
left at the
left.
bus station, and they're right down on the next corner.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. They're just
okay.
a little juice cart. They can even make protein drinks if you want.
Really?
You can get They make sandwiches now. They make little fruit salads. So everything is so fresh. And I mean, I'm used to spending $10 for a juice in the States, and it's $2 here.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. Okay.
It's
so
amazing.
So, all right. Well, I'll have a little Google map. It'll take you there if you want to find this place. And what is it called again?
Juiceland.
Juiceland. Juiceland cart. It's the Juiceland cart.
It's a Juiceland cart.
Okay. All right. So, what about you, Chad? You got a favorite breakfast place, or are you you just Juiceland with her, or what do you do?
So I'll do the juices, but I also need my breakfast. So I like the Pancake House. I mean, solid breakfast every time.
Yeah.
Super cheap. I mean, it's you kind of have to like double take when you get your bill, because you come out of there feeling like you need to be rolled out of there, and it's like $5. But
Yeah.
but no, I love that one. Also, straight out from when you step outside of V399, there's Azul Bistro that's right there. And they do a great breakfast. They do this. It's called Huevos Azul.
Uh-huh.
It's I guess the closest thing you can describe to is like Scotch eggs. When people ask, they just kind of somehow they deep fry an egg, and it's kind of like eating a deep fried poached egg, and
Wow.
cyclones pureed spinach bed. It's so good. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Wow.
So yeah, I would highly recommend that place. I think they do breakfast and lunch. I'm not sure about dinner.
Yeah, I think they do dinner a couple times a week, and you have to
Okay.
kind of follow them to see when they do the dinner. And it's always the same. It's one dish. There's like a single dish dinner that they do there, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, lunch.
Lunch. It's kind of funny because we always end up at Swell or Lagostino's.
All right.
For-
so
yeah,
so when
for
you go to
lunches.
Swell, what do you eat there?
The shrimp tacos.
Shrimp tacos?
And we ask for them to be grilled, and we ask for a double order of shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a guy who works there. His name is Speedy. Speedy is the best. He's the best. He will take care of you. Anything that you could think of, it's already done. That's
Really?
how Speedy is.
Wow.
And it's never a problem. It's just the look. He'll always be like, no, it's no problem. He always just says like, it's no big deal. I'll take care of it.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah,
I'll make it
Wait a
happen.
minute. Wait a minute. You sound like a lot of trouble here. You guys got to make it happen. Wow. All right. So Swell is number one on your list because it's a beach place, probably
Yeah,
too. Right?
yeah, exactly. Because it's a beach place. Salud Superfood is a great place for lunch. It's healthy. Sometimes your body needs something healthy here because you're eating tacos and tequila and maybe not making the best decisions. So that will help you out.
Your body thanks you. When
Yeah,
you,
your
when
body
step
thanks
into
you when you
Salud.
go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's not that stuff again.
What is this greenery you're putting in me?
All right, yeah. So what do you get when you go to Salud?
The Mexi Bowl. So you can do, and they're great there because you can do organic. I mean, they have organic meats, but then they have vegan options, vegetarian options, gluten-free options. So there's something for everyone there. But they have such a great variety.
They do.
I think what'd you have yesterday? The zoodles.
The Bangkok zoodles. It's just like
Zoodles.
it's like a Thai. It's
Thai.
It's zucchini noodles,
Oh, yeah.
and so it's very Thai. They'll put some tofu on it, and the tofu. I mean, it just takes the flavor of everything else that it's mixed in. So
Right.
It's really good.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and
what
we
about-
can't forget
No.
Bodeguita.
Okay, you do that for lunch?
Sometimes we go up there for lunch so we'll hike to the cross to Mirador de la Cruz. We'll do that hike, and then we go down to Bodeguita for like some like snacks. Like they have great empanadas, shrimp empanadas there. It's strange because we always get the black beans and the little marquitas, the little banana chips. We love that.
Yeah.
I mean, just like light things.
Okay.
So that's always a good.
Black beans don't sound exciting, but
Right.
whatever they do to these black beans, they're
so
the
good.
best.
Are they
yeah.
refried or are
No,
they
it's-
whole
it's-
beans?
They're whole beans.
Whole beans?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So, what do they serve? I mean, do they serve full-on food there? Do they do
Oh, yeah.
full-on like lunch and dinner? And, Are they open
Yes.
for breakfast?
No, just lunch and dinner.
Okay, all right. So, do you dance when you go there?
Well, it's usually lunchtime.
So you're not dancing. Yeah, they don't have the they don't have the big band
not yet.
there.
Not yet.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to be having them on the show soon, so we'll
That's good. I'm
We'll
excited
visit
about
there.
that.
That It's my favorite mojitos in Vallarta. I mean,
Really?
it's legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So take note, everybody. Best mojitos in Vallarta. And Chad
According
has been
to
to
me.
a couple of bars, so he knows. He knows. What about dinner?
That is so hard. I mean, there are so many
Well, you can
fantastic.
sell the ones you like. I mean,
Oh, my
don't
gosh.
feel free. I mean, let loose.
So, I will say this: the craziest thing about coming here for all of these years, we started. I mean, coming here 20 years ago, and then we just started coming to Joe Jack's last year. Why? Like, why? That place is so.
Why did we wait so
amazing.
long?
Yeah.
Like that place is so amazing. From their tequilas, I mean, they have every great tequila in the world there. But their food, the red snapper, is the best. I mean, I absolutely love
Agreed.
that place.
Really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No Way Jose, Poblanos. Oh my gosh, Tuna Azul. Tuna Azul is such a great place. I love that place.
All right. So tell everybody about Tuna Azul because we've been there in the show. Mm-hmm. But when you go there, what do you get?
The cucaracha shrimp.
All right. And that is like a.
It's like spicy. They're fried in some type of oil, and they're served on baguettes. But that's my favorite thing. There.
And we actually learned it's okay to eat the entire shrimp
With the shell on.
Oh, really?
Everything.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you sure they're not pulling your leg?
Yep.
All right. All right.
It just got so messy because they're fried and the shell was always sticking. So we were just like, we looked at the guy and we're like, you're supposed to eat the whole thing? And he's like, yeah, just eat it. And it's fine. So
All right. Yeah. And you did what he said.
Yeah.
So it's like,
He made-
okay.
they may have been laughing at us as we left, but but no, it's good. Yeah, they've got some great food there.
Wow. All right. So, yeah. Where else?
You go next.
Archies Walk, that's another one. I mean, that's just that's an institution around here, and anytime you roll in there, you know you're going to get a good meal.
And what do you get when you go there?
We usually split some things. I think our favorite is the fish that's baked in the banana leaf.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember the name of it, but that fish. I'm not a huge fish guy, just like fish. But whatever they do to that, it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. And you wouldn't expect that on their menu. It's kind of interesting that they do
Yeah.
that. All right. Okay. So we've got Joe Jack's. We've got.
No Way Jose.
No Way. Okay. So yeah. So No Way Jose.
Oh, yeah.
When you go there, where do you eat? By the way, he changed his name.
Yes, we heard.
Yeah. It's now C Jose, or Yes Jose, or something like that. And I guess that would be.
The chilies and nagata. Ugh.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the mussels. Like
The mussels.
I think that's where we were first introduced to like really good mussels. I mean, we've had some in the past, but when we had them there, it was like then we became fans.
So
And-
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
But yeah, and luckily it's we've come down when the chilies and nagata was like it was. I don't know if you
It's
call
in
it in
season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it's a phenomenal dish.
Yeah, a lot of places they serve it year round, but it's in season usually during Independence Day. So that whole period of September 10th and on, I guess, is what it is. Or is it September 10th? I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
All right. So what other things have you been to? Any places that lately that kind of surprised you?
This is super random. We had like craving some pizza one night. Metro Pizza in Centro is so good.
Really?
It's just,
Was it just because you were hungry, or was it really good?
I mean, it was both.
That's both.
But I mean, so in Playa del Carmen, there are little pizza carts all over the place, and we're so used to having that. And this was basically the closest thing.
Yeah, that was the
To
first
it.
one we had found where you can
Yeah,
just
I was like,
roll
oh
in.
my god, it's our Pizza Renzo.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And so
And-
this is in Centro.
Yes, I think it's a. I don't know my roads up there, but it's like a block back from the Malecon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll find it.
And we've always called it like over in Playa when we could get that anywhere. We always called it road pizza because it was just like
A slice for the road.
Slice for the road. You come rolling out of the bar. you're hungry, but you don't want to stop for a full meal. You just need a slice to get you home.
Okay, and they sell it by the slice. All right, this is
by the
cool. So you don't have to
slice.
buy the whole pizza.
Right, exactly.
And put it in your
that's the
refrigerator
key.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good. All right, so that is random.
It's so
Is it
random.
a cart?
It's not. It's just a little stall.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
You must have it must be hot in that little stall.
It was hot.
They need one in Old Town because we would probably be there multiple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's just over the bridge, kind of, sort of. I mean, you're both very healthy. I mean, you could do it. You could do it.
We can do it.
Any others? Any others you want to share?
So I will say one reason why we came, another thing that we did while we were here was we celebrated his birthday
Yeah.
a little bit late.
Congratulations,
because-
Chad.
Thank you.
Because of COVID, nothing was really happening in the States, and I couldn't do anything exciting. But my friend Andrea has a place called Dolce Vita, the Sweet Life. She makes cakes that are absolutely amazing. She can make you anything that you want. She made him a cake that looks like a La Fortaleza tequila bottle,
Oh,
and it was fantastic.
wow.
And-
It
and
tastes
the-
like tequila?
And the cake is legit. I mean, it really is. I think it's probably some of the best cake I've ever had.
We had enough for the entire bar.
So it's in the shape. It was the shape of a tequila bottle.
Yes.
Oh, you have to share me a picture, will you?
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
send you
Okay.
some pictures.
All right,
and
definitely.
even the top. I mean, it had the cork, the
agave plant
cork.
on the top.
And she made it out of fondant, and it was
Oh,
just
wow.
Yeah,
All right, so she sounds very talented. Okay, send me the picture.
yeah. We'll get it to you.
Okay, cool. All right, you know some pretty cool people in town. I mean, that's kind of. It seems like you spend a lot of time with your friends when you come
Yeah,
here, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you make friends year after year after coming. I mean, it's like every year you make a new friend. We did it last night.
Well, yeah, we did last night, but you pick up like you just saw him yesterday. Like it's we just and we come down for 2 weeks each year. We wish we could come down more, but we just can't make it happen. But when you see your friends, it's just like you just pick right back up where you saw them last time, and it's just amazing, just the friendships that you keep, and just year after year.
Kind of build on them, yeah.
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 Well, let's talk about meeting people in bars. Let's go to bars. Let's talk about your favorite places to drink. So, who wants to start with that?
It's Bar La Playa.
Bar La Playa.
Bar La Playa, yep.
Always.
We've been friends with Alex for years now. I
So-
mean,
Since they've opened,
yeah.
I think we came down the year, and they had just been open. What they just say they've been open for 6 years.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that first year they opened, we came in. They've just been open a few months, and just amazing craft cocktails. I mean, if that's what you want, they'll make it. You just need a happy hour margarita for 45 pesos.
Right.
I mean, it's just they're awesome. It's nothing's mixed. It's like there's no margarita mix. Everything is completely fresh. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right, so Bar La Playa, and what else? What other bars you like?
I mean, that's our primary
Yeah,
spot.
that's your spot.
That's our
right?
biggest spot.
That's it.
That's our big spot, I think.
Now-
And Joe Jack's, because we just go to the bar and get tequila there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've got a big tequila. Do they still do the tequila tour?
They do. Last year when we came down, they did not have the tequila tasting, but the bartender did a private little one for us, which was so nice. That was so nice.
And that's actually where we learned about legit tequila.
All the ones that we like.
You think ones like we came down, we thought Clase Azul and the real pretty bottle was you're not going to get any better than that. And then you start talking to the bartenders, and we actually talked to Joe, the owner, one night about it. And they start explaining to you,
It's full of fillers
the reason
and coloring.
it's so good is they get away with they can do a 1% additive. So you get the caramel additives and things like that, and that's why it's so good. And but it's expensive. So then the bartenders taught us about real legit tequila, and we've just been hooked ever since.
More pure, like a purist.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
purist
just-
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No fillers, no additives.
Yeah. No messing. No messing around.
No.
That's right.
The real deal.
Exactly. I think that's primarily it. I mean, we do go to Botanical for mojitos. But I mean, we just stick with the places we like.
Stick with what you know. And, when you're sitting out there in front of, Bar La Playa, you've got constant people walking
Yes.
back and forth. And then that's when you see all your friends.
Yep. And
they're
that's what always happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really that's the fun. That's the magic of Puerto Vallarta, right?
That's what happened last night. We went down for a couple drinks.
We
and
saw you.
We saw you. You left. We didn't think we were. You probably didn't expect us to see us again that
no.
night. You came back through several hours later.
Yeah.
We were
still there.
Still there.
Still there. So yeah, I mean there you go. That's the way to do it. And you're here today, and so you survived. You survived all of that.
We did.
Hydrate, kids. That's the key.
That's
Yep.
the key. Have you ever taken any 3-day trips?
They're usually just for a full day.
Okay. So let's talk about some day trips.
Okay.
Which ones do you like?
Maito was beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous. When we walked out onto that beach, it felt like this is what heaven has to feel like. I mean, it was just so beautiful. No one was around.
Amazing, isn't it?
It was amazing. We loved that.
It's just that wide beach that just goes for days, and not a soul out there.
How did you get there?
So, sadly, Jose,
Our friend Jose Castillo.
our friend Jose,
Yeah.
yeah, he took us, and I to this day, like,
Wait a minute. Don't worry. Jose is okay. He's alive.
Yes,
he just
yeah.
moved back to
He
the
just
United
moved
States.
back
He
to the
didn't
States.
pass on.
he's in Hawaii now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so which isn't a bad life.
No.
But we just became friends with him over the years. So it was kind of like, oh, I really miss Jose this trip.
Yeah.
It's just you become friends with all these people, and it's like part of your family after a while.
Yep. And then some of them leave.
Yes, like Jose.
Shame on you. All right, so that's one day trip. How about another one?
San Pancho was, this is the second trip to San Pancho.
Second trip to San Pancho.
Yeah, you liked it enough. You did it twice. Yeah.
San Pancho was kind of like an afterthought last year when we were with Jose. He took us out to
Guaybitos.
And what was the other stop? But there were two. It was those two kind of beach towns close by, and then I think San Pancho was just kind of like an afterthought because we were on our way back, and he said, "Well, let me just take you down in here." And then once we got there, we're just like,
Why did we go here before?
Yeah.
Why weren't we here the entire trip?
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing. So yeah, that took us back out there this year, and
So you could spend more time and take your time.
and actually, and the town was pretty slow last year because it was COVID had a lot of stuff shut down, but it was hopping a lot better this year, and a lot of
Nice.
businesses have reopened. So yeah, that's a great one.
Did the hike to Boca and to Las Animas.
Oh yeah,
Did that hike, which is fun.
Yeah.
Good for the day.
Yeah.
yeah.
that
If
is
you haven't
good.
done that, do that. I mean, it's
Be in shape. You need to be.
Right.
Be a
And
little
wear
bit in shape.
proper footwear.
Yes, you can't wear
For
flip flops.
sure.
and
And
you can
don't do it when it's really hot.
no.
You'll,
And,
ma-
you know,
you'll,
and
not-
you-
you won't make it.
And you can bail out at what is it, Calamitos? That's kind of the halfway point. If that's as far as you want to go,
Yeah.
you can pick up a panga there. But then if not, keep going.
Yeah, once you get to Calamitos, actually, that's the hardest part of the trip. And people kind of quit there, even though it's a long way still. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of flat after that, right?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Remembering it right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all.
But we did it. We did it in May, so I mean there was not a lot of foliage, so it was pretty. The sun
Yeah.
was
We
Pretty
went
dry.
was pretty
We
hot
went with Alex, so that was very
from Bar La Playa.
adventurous.
I bet it was.
So that was fun.
Yeah. And you made it all the way to Las Almas.
Yes, yes, we
Okay.
did.
All right, good. Yeah, that's a great trip. If you had a word of advice for a first-time traveler coming to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be?
Obviously, don't stay in a resort unless you're breaking somebody in.
Yeah.
Because it can be a culture shock if you're coming to a different country for the first time, but just don't stay there. Like if you want to go to an all-inclusive resort, that's fine for your first time, but at least leave for a few days. Go out into the town and meet people. Everyone here just wants to help you. You know, they're great people.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's my big thing is, you know, get off the resort. Some people, that's all they want to do. I mean, they just need to decompress for, you know, a week or so. But you know, we tried the all-inclusive and just found each trip we were using it less and less. We were venturing into town more and more, and finally that was not
every day.
not our thing anymore. But secondly, with that, I would say just be nice. Be nice to the vendors. I mean, these beach vendors, I feel so bad for them because they work so hard. They work so hard. They've got so much stuff that they're lugging around. And, you know, how much they actually really sell, not much, I don't think. But just be nice to them. I know sometimes it feels overwhelming that they're always coming up to you. You know, you want this, you want that. But just say, you know, gracias, no gracias, and they'll move on. But don't, you know,
acknowledge them at least.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah. That's a friendly, nice thing to do, right?
It is. It is. And say buenos dias in the morning. I mean, you know, you're walking around, you're walking down the streets. It's just, you know, you back in the States, you could probably get in your own little world, and you're just, you know, staring straight ahead. Here, you know, people love to hear, you know, just buenos dias. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
And they, you know, it's just the nice thing to do.
Very good.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. And what about a word of warning? You got any words of warning for somebody, a first-time visitor? Or it doesn't even have to be a first-time visitor. It could be anything.
I would say just don't do anything here that you wouldn't do at home. Like if you're not going out at 2 a.m. at home, maybe it's not a great idea to do it here. And I wear a crossbody bag with my phone, my money in it. Leave the passport back at the condo. Just don't take anything unnecessary with you. But just be mindful. Don't put your phone down on a table and turn your back to it, because we've seen a lot of people, you know, end up with a missing phone.
Yeah.
But that's not just here. That's
anywhere.
Right.
You know, it's just don't do anything that you wouldn't do at home here, you know.
Yeah, just don't be ugly. Don't think that all bets are off because you're in another country and you're on vacation. There's no reason for that. You can be respectful, still have fun. You know, don't get yourself blackout drunk and, you know, stagger home. You'll draw attention to yourself, whether it's, you know, the cops or people that have bad intentions. You know, just be smart. Just be smart.
Yeah, that's absolutely great advice. Yeah. What about the future here? What do you see? You see yourselves like living here maybe one day, huh?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you buy a condo? What would you do?
Well, I think.
What do you dream of doing?
Well, one of our friends told us that we should rent first, just to make sure that we like whatever area we decide on a living, and then as soon as we find that we love it, then go ahead and buy. So I think that's the plan.
Okay, all right, that's very good. And where would you like to live?
I mean, so I still haven't checked out Versailles yet, but I feel like that's probably an up and coming place for us.
You can see it. It's going that way. I mean, they're getting ahead of it infrastructure wise. You know, they've redone all the plumbing, or the drainage, the sewage, paving the streets, and so they see it what needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know, versus Old Town, I stress about the infrastructure not being able to keep up. I mean, you've got a lot of pretty new construction around you, but what's underneath the ground is God knows how many years old that just can't handle it.
Yeah.
We like Cinco a lot, the Cinco area.
That's a nice area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good.
So
Very
many
good.
options.
So we'll be looking for you there when that finally happens.
Yes.
And, you know, when you retire, and I don't know, you guys are 3 years old, so 20 years, 30 years. Have I forgotten anything? Is there something you want to add? Is there something that we didn't cover?
So I'm going to do a shameless plug for someone.
Okay.
So Colette Zeri, she owns L'Agostino's. She also does the Kalina spayneuter clinic. if you want to donate to a great cause, please donate to them. We sponsor a clinic every year. They just do great things. We adopted a dog from her. She fosters so many dogs. The lady's the best.
She really is.
All right.
So, yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
Shameless plug. That's great. I like that.
I second that plug. And she owns a fantastic beach bar, Lagosino. So.
Yeah. So what do you get when you go to Lagositos? What do you get? What do you order there when you go there?
Well, we always get the guacamole.
The guacamole. I mean, it's for
It's
whatever
one of our
reason,
favorite.
it's so good there. And that
Just
that
like a
one,
lot of their appetizers are so good. You
Yeah.
like that pasta?
Yeah, that seafood pasta is really good. And just typically we're there during the day, so it's
Kind of a lunch or midday thing.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shrimp tacos are really good.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, so one of these days I'll get Colette on the show.
Yes.
She's
you need
really
to.
hard to track down.
Yeah,
She really is. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's very busy. She's busy at the state
She's
clinic.
busy, but I
Yes.
think that would be a great interview.
She's doing wonderful things. That's great. I'm glad that you mentioned her. Thank you.
She's
And thanks for
fantastic.
doing what you do. Wow, you sponsor a clinic every year?
Yep. Yeah, we.
So what does
love
that
to do
involve? What is that?
So it's, oh my gosh, it's $350? Like you can sponsor even a half of a clinic.
Okay.
So it's an entire spay and neuter clinic for the day. So you're helping all these animals in the city. And it's all the locals. Locals will bring their animals in for a spay or neuter, which is fantastic because you're helping the animal population here.
Right.
So you can, if you can't afford to sponsor a full clinic, you can sponsor a half. That's helpful. It's like less than $200 for a half. But it's less than $400 for a full clinic.
And I think that's a good approach when they're trying to sell these clinics. If you just want to do a half, and then someone else is like, oh, that's not so bad. I'll pick up the other half.
The other half.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean,
But what a great way to just keep, they've done a great job with just, animal control down here, and just keeping that the population down, the spay and neutering, and just the education. I think it's come a long way here, and hopefully it'll catch on to other areas.
Yeah, there must be some sort of outreach that she does if she gets people that in the area that bring their pets in too. So that's probably involved as well, or maybe word of mouth. I don't know.
yes.
I think it's a lot of word of mouth. I think that's been something that's been in place for several years. That I think they know. On this date, is it every Saturday?
Yes.
I can't say for
Yeah.
sure, but they just know that that's happening. We'll go in, we'll get our dog spayed or neutered. And
Yeah, we volunteered a couple of times too,
we have, just
which was cool.
How's that?
whatever they need. Just
So what
grunt work.
Yeah, it's usually the grunt work. Like I pick ticks all day off of animals.
Nice. Yeah.
So I did that. Just being there whenever they are in recovery, because I mean it's an assembly line. I mean it's so well done.
So well organized. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of it. They have these passed out animals like laying on a table, like right
Yeah.
next to each other.
Exactly.
Tongues hanging out.
Funny. That's great. Well, that's wonderful. I'll have a link to Colette's spay and neuter clinic for sure.
Good.
Okay.
In the
Good.
show notes, and then when I get her on the show, maybe we'll even talk about it more.
That would be fantastic.
All right. So you're going to be going home in a couple of days. So you're going to be taking a PCR test. Have you done it yet?
So we actually, since we're from the U.S., we had to take an antigen. So we could do that one. But we went to the San Pablo Clinic in Old Town. It's right down Lazaro Cardenas. And it was 600 pesos, and you're in and out in no time. And it takes about 4 hours to get the results back. So I highly recommend doing that versus, traipsing to Walmart, wasting half a day or something to that effect.
So did you have to make an appointment for that? How do you do that?
So yeah, so if you could just go in the day before and just let them know, hey, how is 8:45, 9 o'clock, whenever. They're open until 9 o'clock at night, so you can make pretty much whatever appointment that you need. Just make sure that you give it a couple of days, and they'll be able to help you out. But it's super fast.
Okay, so that's a great idea because otherwise you're maybe going to the airport, you're spending a couple hundred pesos, because you're going both ways. You're spending almost 400 pesos if you're going to be traveling to the airport and back. So that's a great way to go. Anything else? Anything else that you want to talk about before we say goodbye today?
there's going to be other things, but maybe there will be a part 2.
Yeah, maybe there will be.
There might be.
Well, it's really nice to have you actually in person on the show. I was really weighing whether just to send you a microphone in the mail and have you do this, but in person is a whole lot better.
Yeah, the timing was perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, Chad and Trish, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And sharing your knowledge and all the cool things that you know about Puerto Vallarta. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, well,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
so much.
We appreciate you doing this show because it keeps us connected too. I mean, we're here for 2 weeks, but when we leave and we get to listen to your podcast, it just keeps us connected to what's going on in our favorite city.
I'm always like, come on, Barry, and I need another one.
I know I got lazy during the COVID thing, but I'm trying. Again, thank you very, very much.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Chad. Thanks for taking time out of your vacation to talk with us. I have links for the places that we talked about, including Colette's Spay and Neuter Clinic over in the show notes. I think that's really great that they sponsor that clinic, and you might want to think about doing that yourselves, or maybe just a part of it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I have pictures of Chad and Trish and pictures of some of the things that they shared with me that I can share with you in the show notes. You can find them over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right. Well, that should do it for today. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value for value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying, thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else. So do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review wherever you happen to be listening to the show. Or better yet, tell a friend. Let them experience what it would be like to experience the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to look there. I have the links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in the show notes and in the blog post for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Well, thank you to Trish and Chad for agreeing to come on and share with our listeners your experiences visiting Puerto Vallarta for over 20 years. I have a list of the places Trish and Chad talked about in the show notes, including links as well as pictures of the happy couple having fun in their favorite Mexican town. You'll find it over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Thanks a lot, me too. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta. Noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta. Noche de amor junto al mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta. Noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.